Hello and welcome. You're on Friday Double Bill, India's first full-length, full-on film review show. My name is Mayank Shekhar. This is Fahad Samar.
Coming up on the show today is our review of the Diwali blockbuster Happy New Year, followed by Raw, Tigers of the Sundarbans. Also on the show, we have the Hollywood blockbusters Gone Girl and Fury. Last week, we didn't review Happy New Year because we were having a Happy New Year over Diwali. We did catch the film, and here is our review.
Happy New Year, directed by Farah Khan, is a mixture of a dance film, a full-on heist film, and a movie about seeking revenge. As a genre, it has no parallel. A bunch of 5 novice dancers under the leadership of an experienced bar dance girl, that's Deepika Padukone, represent India at the World Dance Championship. The reason they do this is because the venue of the championship is the same hotel, Atlantis, where expensive diamonds have been stored and protected for a night. The team is led by Charlie, played by Shah Rukh Khan. He has planned this heist over 8 years. This is mainly to avenge the death and disgrace of his father. Charlie wants to teach the villain, played by Jackie Shroff, a lesson. The other members of Charlie's group comprise Sonu Sood, Boman Irani, Vivan Shah, and Abhishek Bachchan, who play a double role in the film as both the villain's son and the hero's sidekick.
It's just a hold-on dance.
What is the word?
It's a hold-on dance.
What is the word? Say it clearly.
World Dance Championship.
So, Mayank, obviously in this week that has gone by, Happy New Year has broken several box office records. It's well on its way to making history at the box office, as we know. However, what is inexplicable to me is the fact that across social media, there's been just such an outrage against this film, and yet, it can garner the kind of numbers that it has. Now, this film essentially talks about either you're a winner or a loser in life, and that the world is divided into winners and losers. And I think, yes, Farah Khan and Shah Rukh have gone and won many laurels at the box office. They'll be laughing all the way to the bank, no question. But have they really won any hearts? Are there any new fans that Shah Rukh has won from this film? It makes me really wonder.
Well, it really boils down to 2 things. One is, how do you even begin to judge a film that is so high on lunacy? And as we said even in the synopsis, I mean, what kind of a movie is it? What genre is it? Is it a dance film? Is it a heist film? Is it a Baap Ka Badla kind of movie? I think it's all of these things, and at the end of the day, it's a Farah Khan film, and possibly why I thought it wasn't so bad.
Well, the thing is, that's interesting that you don't think it's that bad, because I know you have a long-running feud with Farah.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay, you
Nothing
don't.
personal at all.
No. On the contrary, purely about her cinema. I mean, what is not to love about the adorable Farah Khan? But the fact is that really, I think she is one of the most proficient technicians working in Bollywood today. That opening scene, of the Atlantis, it's a combination of CGI and other stuff. It's just magical and absolutely world-class.
Father, I think it's time that we take a look at the OMG or the oh my god moments from this film. Here is a film that has its main plot in some form or the other straight from Diwar. So, Mera Baap Chor Hai. Then there is Shalimar, that major 1978 heist film with Dharmendra, also had Rex Harrison, because that safe is called Shalimar. The background score is Shalimar. Before Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi, plays in the dance up right before the heist itself is again the Rishi Kapoor film. Then there is Arjun, that lovely underrated movie. The song Khero Mama, which was a lovely action and dance song. There's a nod there. The Victory Dance from Jeet, which is also another Sunny Deol movie. I mean, this is just to let you know and let viewers know that there is nothing about this movie which is not already seen in some Bollywood movie or the other. In fact, there's so many Bollywood movies for the price of one that it stops being a tribute or homage.
No, exactly. I mean, the fact that even, Deepika Padukone is introduced as Mohini from Tezab, it's all. It is a full-on homage. The point is, a film has to transcend just being an homage and has to become a film. for me, what is a particularly oh my god moment is the fact that Shah Rukh Khan, who otherwise has become the epitome of political correctness and is actually considered an intelligent, very gender sensitive actor and filmmaker by virtue of being a producer, constantly refers to Mohini as a bazaru aurat, a chamia, and she just keeps overhearing it and gets devastated, but is hopelessly smitten by this man who just, because he speaks English.
Right.
And I don't
Which
know
is from
what
a fish called Wanda, that entire track. Yeah.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. But the point is, so yes, you're not only borrowing from Bollywood, you're also borrowing from Hollywood. You're basically just borrowing.
Well, I think I need to make it very, very clear to viewers who have not already seen the film, I'm sure everybody who had to already has, is that I came in with very, very low expectations despite a house full board outside the theatre. One, that this is a Shah Rukh Khan film whose last movie was Chennai Express, which was very hard for me to sit through. This is a Farah Khan film whose last movie was Tismar Khan, which was very hard for most people to sit through. And therefore, this is also a Shah Rukh Khan film which is a rare ensemble cast film. So you can also look at others in the movie. Abhishek Bachchan, I think, has a double, has done a fine job in a double role, which is pretty rare for a movie which is otherwise Farah Khan's love letter to Shah Rukh Khan as usual. I thought because my expectations were very low, this didn't turn out to be a bad movie for me. It didn't turn out to be a great movie either. I was happy for the most part. It's a theatre mein dekho from my end.
Well, Mayank, I completely agree. This is a theatre mein dekho, and what's more, most of India has already seen it in the theatres, so it's a no-brainer as far as telling them to go or not go. As far as I'm concerned, I would have been happier watching it, on TV, fursat se. But as it turns out, the masses have gone in droves, and more power to Shah Rukh Khan and Farah.
Well, coming up now is the review of Roar. Is it going to roar into the theatres? You'll soon find out.
सुंदरबन is a World Heritage Site. इसके रिजर्व में दुनिया के सबसे ज्यादा टाइगर्स बचे हैं.
सुंदरबन के टाइगर.
Roar Tigers of the Sundarbans, directed by first-timer and former actor Kamal Saldana, is a film supposedly set in the Sundarbans. It is about an army commando who comes to the world's biggest delta to kill a white tiger who had in turn killed his photographer brother. The commando comes with his own little army and lots of guns. On a boat, they go around trying to locate tigers. The tigers are much smarter though, they have the upper hand. This is a movie apparently made for wildlife enthusiasts.
उस टाइग्रेस को मारे बगैर मैं यहाँ से नहीं जाऊँगा.
This is a film for boys with toys. They've got two girls, very busty, showing ample cleavage. They've got all kinds of guns, grenades, explosives, all kinds of contraptions which allow you to fly over the Sundarbans, glide over it. And Mayank, they also have a Jimmy Jib that soars above the Sundarbans and gives you the most stunning visuals. And it's one stunning visual after the other. There's some computer generated tigers, which is, not bad. I mean, if you've seen Jessica Lynch's Hiss with Malika Sherawat, you'll see what I mean. It is, miles ahead. But by all intents and purposes, it's a pretty shabby piece of filmmaking, would you not say?
Well, there is all these commandos and there is all these guns and grenades, but all it takes to kill a tiger is one bullet.
Yes.
And these commandos are like going on and on and on, but they can't find one tiger to hit the bullet. I mean, it's kind of bizarre in its own way. I can see why they thought they could make a great film because they were fully enamored by the CGI or the technology or the money they're going to spend on it. But man, what was the story? It made no sense to me. Well, getting on to the OMG or the oh my god moments from this film, I think right from the first scene, you know that this is an oh my god movie purely because this is a film set in the Sundarbans. All that you know about Sundarbans, the whole world knows about Sundarbans is the Royal Bengal tiger. But this is a movie that deals with white tigers. So I don't know where the white tigers came to the buns in the first place. So you know that the location is not correct.
No, true Sundarbans in every sense of the term. Having said that, there was also the point where you have two mating snakes. And legend has it that if you kill one of these snakes while they're mating, they will extract their revenge. Of course, the villain kills the snake, puts the dead snake, part of the mating duo, into the haversack of one of the protagonists, and then you have an entire forest full of snakes pursuing these flying snakes, slithering snakes, dassifying snakes. It was hysterical and went on and on and on.
Well, you know, Fahad, we can go on and on, but I genuinely believe that some films don't merit a review, and this is one of those. To be honest and to be very, very fair, we've seen lots of bad movies throughout the year, but sometimes you catch that gem that becomes the worst movie of any year. For 2014, I think my nomination for the Golden Raspberry for Indian movies would have to be Sundarbans or The Tigers or The Roar, whatever this movie is called.
Unfortunately, there's not much of a roar. It's all a whimper, really. Yes, I don't know about worst film of 2014, as in the immortal words of Shah Rukh Khan, picture abhi baki hai mere dost. We still have a few months to go before we wrap up this year. I'm sure that Bollywood will not disappoint us. We'll have some pretty crappy films even to end the year. As far as I'm concerned, certainly a Peko. So a couple of weeks ago, Mayank and I reviewed Sonali Cable and both gave it a resounding Peko. But let's find out what the Desi Martini audience has to say.
More than 700 reviewers have given it an average rating of 2.8, which makes it a one-time watch. Desi Martini says Sonali Cable is a simple little film with an interesting plot that could have been brilliant. But the average acting, except Anupam Kher's, and poor execution will just leave you feeling meh. One of the reviewers says Ali Zafar as Ria's boyfriend and Smita Jaikar as his mother are competent in their roles. The other actors in supporting roles are adequate. Overall, it's a time pass movie.
Welcome back. You're on Friday Double Bill. This is the segment where we'll be reviewing the Hollywood releases of this weekend. The first one coming up is called Fury.
If you think it can't get worse, it can, and it will. The dying's not done, the killing's not done. I promised my crew.
Fury, directed by David Ayer, is a film set during World War II. In April 1945, as the Allied forces make their final push into Germany, a battle-hardened army sergeant named War Daddy, played by Brad Pitt, commands a Sherman tank and her 5-man crew on a deadly mission behind enemy lines. Outnumbered and outgunned, and with a rookie soldier thrust into their platoon, War Daddy and his men face overwhelming odds in their heroic attempt to strike at the heart of Nazi Germany.
Dead in the water. All we got is you.
Well, Fahad, firstly, it's a war film. And I can't remember the last time I watched a really good war film that was also that weekend's release in the theaters from Hollywood anyway. Well, Bollywood doesn't do too many of those in the first place. And I think one of the beauties of a really good, gritty war movie is, in fact, it's opposite of an action film, in the sense that all deaths count. You can see the misery, you can see the realism, you can see the brutality, and somehow the other, and I think that's one of the reasons why all war films turn out to be anti-war movies. And so far as that genre goes, I think this is as good as it gets.
Oh, completely. I mean, really, after, Saving Private Ryan, this is up there with the best of them. Just a really beautiful meditation on the fatuousness of violence, and these little moments between fantastically staged war scenes, which you would naturally expect from a film of this caliber, but moments of quietude when they have a little respite from battle, and holding on to little vestiges of humanity. I think Brad Pitt delivers a performance of a lifetime. Yeah. Just beautifully nuanced performance as this really battle-hardened sergeant who has to drive his men to kill, because if they don't kill, they will get killed, and it's one of those maxims of war. The fact that he's been a war horse, and ever since Rommel, he's been fighting Rommel with his tanks. And don't forget, that the German panzers are far more effective, they're far more powerful killing machines.
Well, talking of the OMG or the oh my god moments from this movie, which would have to be the best scenes that I thought, kind of drew me into the film itself. I think as a war film, most of the times, most of those movies anyway, are too obsessed with the soldiers and people dying or people killing each other. I think this was that one, rare war film that I saw where they actually enter a civilian's home. They enter a civilian's life because, this is that, the armored group that actually enters the city and therefore has access to a home, and suddenly, you know, the genre changes so far as I was concerned. Fahad, I think the fact that you could see these two women, two German women who live there, then the Allied forces who enter, and some of them have been dehumanized, some of them have been humanized. There's decency, there's also indecency, and the fact that soldiers are talking to civilians or the families of the same armies that they go and kill on a daily basis. I thought that just really struck me as a very, very different kind of film just for that scene itself.
Absolutely, Mayank, and I think that, you know, in that very scene itself, you know, the Brad Pitt character, who has only very earlier in the film, you know, got a young rookie to shoot a German soldier dead in the back, you know, and you think he's been dehumanized, but he brings this, you know, 6 eggs, fresh farm eggs that he's obviously got from somewhere, and he asks that German woman to cook it for them. And they sit around the table, and you think this is going to get into the territory of rape and violence, but in fact all this man wants is to just be able to sit down, have a little bath, have you know, a bite to eat. And I think these are these kind of great moments in cinema that will probably stay with you forever.
Well, I can understand, Fahad, that both of us are fixated on that one scene in this film, because that's really what turns this from just being another war movie to a film that deals with human lives, the film that deals with also civilian lives, because they're all affected in the case of war. Of course, we're talking about World War II. That was many, many years ago, and lots of films have been made on that subject. But it's great to see the same technology being used to make an even better film, to see, you know, Brad Pitt in a fantastic performance. The premise is roughly the same. You know, you see a lot of war movies where there's a rookie who enters and how it turns from a human to a machine, to a killing machine, as it turns out. So in that sense, there's nothing new. But hey, I had a lot of fun watching the movie. I think I would watch it in the theater. Well, I have watched it in the theater. I think you should watch it in the theater.
Absolutely, Mayank. You know, and unlike Roar, which used CGI effects to no good use at all, David Ayer here has used it in such a way that it's imperceptible, and you have these incredibly mounted, it's all tones of, you know, brown and mud and gray, and it's that kind of bleak landscape, and you have this most amazing you know, battle scenes with the tanks. All of that, it's just great filmmaking and a great humanity that has been brought to this. Please watch it as soon as you can in the cinemas, because you need to watch it in the way it was meant to be seen.
Well, that brings us to the next Hollywood review for this weekend. That's David Fincher's much-awaited Gone Girl.
Nick Dunn, you're probably the most hated man in America right now.
Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher and based upon the global bestseller by Gillian Flynn, unearths the secrets at the heart of a modern marriage. On the occasion of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunn, played by Ben Affleck, reports that his beautiful wife Amy, a role essayed by Rosamund Pike, has gone missing. Under pressure from the police and a growing media frenzy, Nick's portrait of a blissful union begins to crumble. Soon his lies, deceits, and strange behavior have everyone asking the same dark question. Did Nick Dunn kill his wife?
People who are volunteering to help find Amy.
Well, this is firstly a David Fincher movie. Fahad, I don't think anyone who's watching the show needs endorsement, you know, from the two of us, purely because here's a director, I think, who's at the top of his game. He also made the movie called The Game. Since then, he's upped his game to a huge extent.
Considerably.
Considerably. Yes, there was Fight Club, which remains a cult classic even now. There was...
Seven.
Well, Seven, of course, but even, more recently, Social Network, which I think is the finest docudrama that I've ever seen on the big screen. But this is more along the lines of Zodiac, which is also his film, purely because you just don't know what's going to happen next in this movie, is really what makes David Fincher the kind of talent or directorial talent that he is at this point.
Absolutely, and you know, given that there are millions of readers out there, such as myself, who've read Gone Girl, you know, had huge burden of expectation on Fincher, the fact that he got this girl, Gillian Flynn, the author, to write the screenplay, who has now become his collaborator on several other projects, including a TV project that he's doing. So it's interesting that he's really found it, and Fincher always works with the same team. His cinematographer, his music directors, who've done a fantastic job, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, with the background score. And so really this is ensemble filmmaking. And that brings me to the actors. I mean, you know, I think after a long time, Ben Affleck has really hit his stride. He's in good nick as Nick Dunn. But the real surprise package is somebody who I've actually met and worked with, Rosamund Pike. And I saw her on the London West End when she invited me to see a play that she's doing called Hitchcock Blonde. And that icy blonde, almost bitch, that character, you know, she was born to play it, and she's done Miranda Frost and, you know, James Bond and all of that. It's taken a lot of time in the sidelines and the side wings, and she's finally come into her own. She owns this film, and she is just absolutely brilliant.
Well, there is a reason why we've skipped straight to the verdict of this film rather than actually deal with the OMG moments, purely because here is a movie that really unravels or, you know, actually reveals itself by the minute, and there is no way in hell we're going to reveal to you certain scenes that really become the crux of the film, because we want, at least I would like you to watch the film. This is one of those movies that is politically incorrect to start with in terms of all its characters, but as it gradually, you know, when you get drawn into all the characters, you realize that this is a movie that actually sides with no one in particular. It's about 140 minutes long, and it's one of those rare Hollywood movies that I've seen where I felt it could have even been longer. It's a pure weekend pe dekho from my end.
Certainly weekend pe dekho, theatre mein dekho. You know, David Fincher has been very fastidious about censorship in India. He chose not to release Girl with the Dragon Tattoo only because the censors had been so merciless in chopping his film. And so he didn't allow it to be released. With this film, he had his team monitor it, and they've done some very interesting editing with digital effects so that the offending portions, offending for the Indian censors, have been camouflaged without destroying the integrity of the soundtrack. So yes, you can watch it in the theaters. You will not get to see Ben Affleck in the nude. You will not get to see Rosamund Pike in the nude. But hey, you know, you can always watch that later if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a good film to be watched in a cinema, go get it right now.
Well, that brings us to the end of Friday Double Bill. It was, I think, a great weekend at the theaters. At least Gone Girl saved the day for us. Let's find out what next week is like. Do come back to the show and give us suggestions on how we can improve it.